Alrighty, so the new Mushoku Tensei Collab is coming out, and even though it seems to be controversial for some people, if you're interested in it, I do want to try to give you some tips and pointers on what you should maybe be working on in the meantime, or I'm planning on putting this out on Sunday, so that way you can farm in Fort Solgris for whatever sort of, materials that you may need. So the big things to note is that all four of the characters are not blue. So there's 2 red characters, 2 green characters. So the biggest thing is if you're worrying about books, which you hopefully do already have some books sort of lying around, make sure that you have a decent amount of the green and red books on hand. If not, make sure that you're using the half stamina right now in Fort Solgris to sort of farm those out, of course. On top of that, it's 4 brand new characters. I know that you can't really just farm up a whole bunch of evolution pendants all in one day or anything like that, but I've been saving them up for quite a while. Make sure that you have, the UR pendants already converted, so that way you can power, whichever ones you want to as soon as they come out. I have been trying to do demons a pretty decent bit, mainly just OG demon and Belmoth, because obviously the level 90 to level 100 stretch is quite expensive, so make sure that you're sort of working on doing your demons every day if you can, because obviously the collab comes out on Tuesday, which if this is coming out on Sunday, that's only 2 days away, so you don't have too much time, but honestly I wanted to focus on some of the more Fort Solgris type farming anyway. During half stamina, I typically try to use my hourglasses. If you need to make gear for characters, make sure that you do anvils. If you need, super awakening coins, because it does take quite a few super awakening coins to max out a character nowadays, you might want to do the super awakening coin dungeon. I typically try to prioritize that one over anvils, just because, sometimes you can, if you really wanted to, you could just play ungeared PvP and not have to worry about, having a set on hand as soon as the characters drop necessarily, and you can kind of work on those later if you want. I guess if you really wanted to, I guess you could try to get some cosmetic enhancement materials, but like I said, these aren't really something that you can kind of just farm out in one day. XP potions, I think, is another really big one that I kind of always end up forgetting about. XP potions are pretty essential because it's not normally too bad from the level 1 to level 90 grind. It doesn't really take that many XP potions to get all the way up there, which is kind of surprising because that's a really big stretch. But the level 90 to 100 stretch is really extensive. You need a lot of, XP potions and everything just to get the characters from 90 to 100. So I definitely recommend you run the XP potion dungeon if you can, or I think it's just called the enhancement potion, or enhancement dungeon. But that is going to be really helpful if you're going to make gear. You might want to try to stock up on some gear gacha, so that way you can actually get all of the stuff that you need to make the gear that you need, of course. Other than that, gold is a huge one. I always underestimate how much money it takes to actually enhance gear. Enhancing gear is a big one. It's pretty expensive. Like if I were to go to Meliodas over here, not costumes, but equipment, just to level 5 this, while it's already 5-star, would cost me almost 700,000 gold in of itself, and if it was a level 1 piece of gear and I had to max it completely out, that's 2.7 million gold that I would have to use on top of a bunch of enhancement stones and stuff like that. So make sure that you're farming up a bunch of gold. You also have to use gold, if I'm not mistaken, for whenever you are going to limit break a character, so it's 750,000 gold just to get this character to be able to go to level 95, so that is also a huge sink. If you're going to be planning on upgrading their cosmetics as soon as you get them, that's also more gold on top of that, so don't skimp out on the gold. I know that it looks like I have a lot of gold right here, but I typically end up blowing through a lot of it when new characters end up coming out, so definitely recommend you, use the gold farming dungeon while you can. Obviously, you don't have to do that on Sunday. If you wanted to, you could try to take advantage of all of the half stamina stuff while it's on sale, or like reduced, I guess, on Sunday, which is today, me coming out, the video coming out. But the gold dungeon is actually discounted all the time now. It doesn't actually go on discount anymore. It used to be 48 stamina per run of this new one, or the highest tier one, but now it's only 24, so you could just run this on Monday if you wanted to, take advantage of the Sunday half stamina, and on top of that, you could probably go ahead and do your coin dungeons as well. I try to do the silver coin dungeon from time to time, so that way I can make sure that I get anvils and stuff like that from this, because it's actually a halfway decent way to get anvils if you're not just planning on using it for purely the stamina pots. And then if you want to get some cosmetic enhancement materials, I typically try to do the gold coin dungeon as well once per week. I typically skip the platinum coin dungeon just because it's not really that good. I mean, all of this stuff is... it's okay, like some of this is really good stuff, but at the same time, using 6 platinum coins is a bit of a stretch for me. So yeah, make sure that you're doing either your Anvil or Super Awakening coin dungeon while you can. If you have extra Anvil or the time limit dungeon keys, the hourglasses, make sure that you're using those as much as you can. I know it's a bit of a grind, but if you want to be ready for the collab as soon as it drops, you might want to go ahead and do that. I know a lot of people don't really like doing Training Grotto as well, but I highly recommend you try to do your Training Grotto at least a little bit, so that way you have your engraving stones, extra anvils, extra hammers, and stuff like that for the gear whenever you want to make it. But honestly, other than that, there's not too much else that you really have to worry about, I wouldn't think. At least not off the top of my head. I do have gear already pretty much ready to go. I don't know exactly which sets I'm giving to which characters at the moment, but I do have 2 attack crit sets and 2 HP defense sets pretty much ready to go, so I have them alternating here. I've just recently maxed them all out with +5 and everything, and I've been using a lot of my anvils, so that way I can make sure they have at least somewhat decent rolls on them. Obviously, if you're not going to use some of the characters, Eris is a PvE-only character that doesn't really have a whole lot of uses. You could probably skip making UR gear for her, but if you're just working on box CC and stuff like that, you might want to give her a set eventually. So, yeah, there's just always more room for just grinding out materials, making sure that everything's kind of tucked away and ready to go. But that is pretty much it for me. I don't really think that there's anything else you have to worry about. You do get the Holy Relic materials for free, so you don't have to worry about grinding those out or anything. They come in boxes during the event that have everything you need in them. But yeah, that is pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to subscribe. If there's anything that I forgot or left out, make sure that you leave a comment down below so other people might be able to see it. Or even me, I might need to farm out some stuff and make sure that everything is kind of squared away before the collab comes out, because you know, to make content on stuff, I kind of have to make gear sets and, you know, everything like that. So either way, thank you guys so much. I will see you guys later.